Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sicky Nicky and I make Less Unleashed content. In the last couple of weeks, we've been running the same dungeons that haven't been rotated out for the time dungeons, but it made me see something that I thought I had to share here. So despite it being out for over a year, Lich's Respite has become one of those dungeons where even high-level players are being killed just for lack of knowledge of the mechanics. So I wanted to run through those real fast and make sure everyone knows how to do it. This is the first dungeon one I've ever done, so, bear with me here. Now when you first start out, you run through and you need one person to pull this. There's going to be about 4 groups of the enhanced ghouls is what they are called. Now what these guys do, they're level 30. Now what these guys can do is when they hit you, the big one specifically, they will stun you. And then you get unstunned about a second before they're about to hit you again, which would stun you again, so you got to make sure you roll out. But the important thing is pulling them away from the Soul Reaper, who's the first boss, and into this little section right here where you can kill them all off. This way you won't have to deal with them while you're trying to fight the boss. Now the person who runs in there needs to be careful. I've had so many times when they would run through there and they would also pull the boss, and then the gate would close and they'd have to fight him alone. Don't be that guy, you will be kicked. So the Soul Reaper is pretty straightforward. He summoned the sights from the ground in various patterns. Now the Soul Reaper, he has a few moves, but they all basically revolve around using the sights. He has one that'll just summon it in one position for his targeted opponent, or he has one that will summon it, it will pretty much attack in a giant circle around him. Now the main attack that I see that a lot of people die on is when he sucks your souls out. A message will appear on the screen saying you feel your soul being ripped from your body. When that happens, you need to run away to a corner or far away from everyone else. Then about 3 seconds, you're going to be either pulled to him or pushed away from him. And when that happens, exactly where you were standing, there's going to be a little white orb showing. If you ran backwards, you'll be pushed up against the wall and you'll automatically collect it, or you'll be slightly behind it and you can run straight forward to it. That's the easy one. However, if he pulls you toward him, you're going to need to turn around exactly the way you were facing and run back and grab yours. Now don't be a dick and grab somebody else's soul, otherwise they're going to get killed with one hit and you're probably going to get kicked for it when they mention it. Now this is the one where a lot of people won't know that soul is necessary to grab, or they just won't try and grab it and they'll just keep attacking. On top of that, if you're a melee user or really anyone, when you're pulled to the Soul Reaper, those little hands on the ground are going to slow your movement down, so you either need to jump or you need to roll to get out of there fast enough. Other than that, avoid the sights. They're pretty straightforward. They go out of the ground, you have a second to dodge them, and they're pretty easy. If you throw a mark on him before he dies, you'll be able to actually see where he will be coming out. But even without mark, you'll see a little shadow on the ground where he's about to pop out. After this, you're going to be going through this hallway that's going to lead up to the second boss. In this hallway, there's going to be 3 Skeletal Leaders. You need to take those guys out. No matter how many of the little ones you kill, they'll keep spawning until you take out the 3 leaders. Their main attack is they have a charge attack that kind of sucks in the air around you and then fires an arrow that pushes you back, which you can land on the spikes or into a mob of skeletons. So just run to them, take them out as quick as you can, and then you'll be on your way to the second boss. The second boss is Bone Crusher. This guy is pretty simple. All of his attacks are pretty slow. This primary kind of damaging one is where he will summon a bunch of baby skeletons, which are easy to kill, as well as the dark squares on the ground will shoot spikes in random patterns. Well, they'll kind of just summon them. And then he'll turn and face whichever enemy he's going to jump to, typically the furthest player. He'll jump towards you, and when he lands, if he does any damage to you, he'll do a spin attack similar to the Berserker's Whirlwind. So make sure as soon as you see him jump, make sure you dodge any direction. And as soon as he does that 3 times, he'll then do a very similar move, but instead of jumping though, he'll charge towards you. It'll damage any player who's in his path as well as the player that he hits. And there's a chance he will do the spinning attack again, otherwise he'll move on to the next one. Once you've beaten him, you move on to the final boss, Lich Tiberius. So now when you first enter, make sure you don't do anything like Mark, because then you'll just be wasting it, because he has about 10 seconds where he does a monologue. Make sure as a Berserker you're pulling as much aggro as you can. Just stay right in front of him and keep doing the damage. Now, he will be summoning Spike in that area at times, but they're really easy to see because it'll illuminate the ground in either orange or purple, so it's not that big of a deal. He has this shield that does need to be taken down as quickly as possible, so if you're a ranger, wait to use Mark until that shield is pulled up. so that people can do as much damage and take it down. Once that's done and he starts doing his next move, it'll lock everybody in a chain. He'll summon this purple smoke and it'll summon a whole bunch of skeletons. Now, this happens a few times unless you beat him fast enough. The first time he does it, it's only going to be a couple of the medium skeletons, which are pretty easy to beat. But if he does it a second or third time, they're also going to have some of those skeletal commanders that you fought previously in the hallway. During this too, he'll be doing a couple quick time events where you'll be locked up and have to click the right button. Frustrating when he summons out the leaders when you have to do that, because then they get a free hit on you. Lich Respite is not that hard of a dungeon if you have the right team. It's just those small little mechanics you need to do. The main ones you just need to look for, like I said, is when he illuminates the ground, those spikes can be damaging. Sometimes he'll summon purple ones, followed by orange ones before those spikes even come, so you have to move from the purple onto the orange, and as soon as the spikes show up, move back onto the purple so the orange spikes come up, and vice versa. Long story short, make sure you know the mechanics before you join a dungeon. Don't try and bring everyone down. Thanks for watching the video. Check out my channel for other ones. I've linked a couple in there. The Awakening update comes out the 14th, so make sure you keep an eye on that. On that, I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day.